So recently there's this video about an actor. They put on this reel that showed them using AI to break down a script and do all the analysis and all that stuff. And then they use that information to help them land a job, a pretty big one, I guess. And then there's a lot of comments online on both sides of this equation of like, oh, you shouldn't do this, or like, oh my gosh, oh, that's a great idea. So where's my take on this? And how should an actor and a performer use AI? Well, the first and foremost is, I'll definitely address the big thing that's obviously a no-no is if you are under any form of an NDA, if you sign any of those contracts, just be very, very mindful of where you put those scripts, how you upload them. If you upload them to an AI, it needs to make sure it has to be a closed system kind of AI. They do exist, large companies do use them. And that, if you turn off that sharing function, like where it doesn't share back into the main frame of the AI and it's only localized to you, then I think that still fits under that NDA protection. But, I'm not a lawyer, so please consult your lawyer. But I do know, a lot of large corps, they have like, some of these AIs are used for specifically that reason because they know it's close off and that their NDA content won't get leaked out and won't be fed into their mainframe. So, but beyond that, okay, so let's talk about beyond the obvious, no-nos of using AIs. Should we as artists use AI in our creative efforts, and where does the line end, where do we, start and stop, and I've had this discussion with multiple people recently, especially with one of my teacher. She is absolutely adamant against using any form of AI herself personally. She's not like, she won't kill me for using AI, but she herself won't touch it, for her own reasons. She believes it's not, something that we should be encouraging, even though she understands that it's probably inevitable that eventually AI is going to be so ingrained in everyday life, which it kind of is already. If you go on Google search, it's almost automatically, by default, there's an AI mode built into it. Of course, you can turn that off if you don't want to use that. But it is everywhere, and, in almost every industry you can imagine. I've recently even had to direct a voiceover session with an AI bot, performing instead of, a human being. So I understand both sides of things. And of course, I'm all for human actors, human performances. Ultimately, I think there is always going to be a need for that. I think I went over this last time. There's always going to be some need for human actors. It's just to what extent. And obviously, I think, on the lower level of stuff, where companies that are not, that don't have high budgets, they can't afford necessarily, $1,000 a day or, plus residuals and all that stuff with actors and, doing a $100,000 commercial budget, they are most likely going to use some sort of AI for their, business, and they have to. We all have to make ends meet. We have to do what's best for us. And so for me, my rule of thumb is exactly that. Do what is best for you. If you have an ethical, dilemma against AI, then don't do it. If you are a believer of AI and you want to leverage AI, then go and use it. Just make sure you're using it in an ethical way. You're not plagiarizing people. But yes, there's the whole conversation where AI is already plagiarizing all these, blah, 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 blah. But, that is for, I guess, the big companies to sort that side of things out. In the end, for me as a personal artist, use it in a way that you feel you are true to your authentic self. That's all that matters, right? Sometimes AI can help you speed up the process. Sometimes it can help you research. Sometimes if you want to create a creative app, you can use AI to help you code. You can do all sorts of things with it, or if you can use AI to help develop an original script concept that you may have, help you refine your lyrics. Those are all your own prerogative and how you feel you're comfortable using AI. And there are countless ways you can use it. And personally, I don't think there's a general one-size-fits-all rule for everyone. Like, I won't judge. And especially because I own a performing arts school and I'm teaching the next generation of kids. Some of these kids are 5, 6, 7 years old. I mean, imagine when they are 18 years old, in like 12 years. I can't imagine a world with no AI in it where they're not going to be using it every single day. I mean, just think back to our own time of, when the dot-com bubble burst, right? A lot of people say the AI bubble is going to burst. Well, I mean, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. I can't predict the future. But whether it breaks or not, that doesn't affect the everyday person who's using it for whatever they're doing. It only affects the investor. If you think it's going to burst, don't invest in it, Don't invest in those infrastructure and those companies that do, But for the artists, it won't matter because it's like when the dot-com bubble burst, the internet's still here. We're still using it, And of course, when the internet first came out, people were like, no, don't go there. There's a lot of people putting up wrong information, fake news. We're still combating fake news today. But in the end, you can't fight its existence. What you can do is understand the tool, and it is a tool, AI is a tool. And so you have to understand that tool and learn to leverage it, just like the way we learn to leverage the internet, or the way we learn to leverage wireless, communication, or any other form of technology that came about all through human existence. We leverage our technology. And so as artists, I encourage all of my artists, especially young artists, to leverage AI to your advantage. Use it in ways that helps further your career, whether it's to help you develop ideas, help you rehearse if it's within the legal limits, whatever it is, use it for your own advantage, because it's not going away. Learn how to do it and do it in a way where you feel comfortable and good about it. And that's all I will say about AI in terms of the ethical dilemma that we're having, because for every person, I'm sure there will be lots of people hearing this and going like, no, I don't agree with that. And that's okay. That's your personal understanding of it. Then live by that. And I respect you for that. I don't fault you for that, but don't fault the other people for using it as long as they're within the legal boundaries. And then in terms of the ethical nature of the existence of AI itself, I think, whether you agree with it or not, it's here to stay. And yeah, I think we'll find our way to, reconcile this over time and understand that where the line should be drawn and where what is right and what is not. But while we sort through all of that, or as a society sort through that, individually, take advantage of it, use it, make use of it, create an app, create your multi-billion-dollar franchise from this, create the next big sci-fi IP, fantasy, Dungeons and Dragons, Stranger Thing, whatever IP, using AI, to realize your vision. Now, there is one thing I do want to say. When you're doing that with AI, is that the last thing you should not do is throw it in there and say, I have this idea, and let AI spit it out and then call it a day, because I can guarantee you that's not going to be any good, because that's just a regurgitation of a compilation of a bunch of things the AI has read over time. That's not your original idea, because in the end, that's the weakness of AI. It doesn't have original ideas. The only ideas it can have are ideas that it has been fed and taught to create. So you have to teach it to create the idea and to fulfill the ideas that you have in your mind, because you are the creative. You are the one who's going to create the next big thing. All right, so until next time, please like and subscribe if you like, or even if you don't like what I'm saying here, but you just want to be part of the conversation, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.